I have tried so many different strategies. My favorite property strategy is a buy-to-let. It's about negotiating at the beginning when you buy the property. In life, there are so many options. None of them are right or none of them are wrong. It's about having the knowledge, knowing the strategy, and then stick with your own strategy.
Oh, what a show. That's Bristol out the way. Our next stop is Birmingham on the 16th of July. Then on to Manchester on the 10th of September, and we'll be finishing the year in Leeds on the 8th of October. Why would you attend the show? Well, we have multiple expert speakers, industry-leading businesses exhibiting, and ample opportunity to network with fellow developers and investors. The best thing? Tickets are free. You can book your ticket today by heading to our website, propertydevelopershow.co.uk. I look forward to seeing you there. Welcome to another episode of To The Point. Today I'm joined by Elton Leung, who obviously has been one of our main guests and the longest episode to date. So welcome to The Point, Elton. I'll explain to the people that have not maybe tuned into a To The Point before, and I'll explain it to you. So essentially, I'll ask you a question. You've got 2 minutes to answer that question, okay? Rock and roll. So, if you were starting again in property, what would you focus on?
I will focus on the knowledge.
Okay.
I would definitely say on the knowledge, and because in life there are so many options, and none of them are right or none of them are wrong. So it's about making the options, making the choices. And in property as well, there are so many different strategies in property, and some works for some people, some doesn't. And it's about having the knowledge, knowing the strategy, and then stick with your own strategy. For example, like I came from in property, the humble buy-to-let, and then to HMO, to development, to estate, like to all the strategies, lease option, etc. And then I now go back to buy-to-let is my favorite strategy. So I would say it's about exploring, getting the exposure, getting the knowledge, and then finding the thing that right for you.
Cool. Amazing. Great stuff. It's all right if you finish your answer before the 2-minute timer.
Yeah.
So, next question. How did you learn about property?
So I learned about property from my aunt. So in the podcast, I mentioned that one day, out of the blue, my aunt just dragged me to the side and say, "Elton, you need to give me a couple of hours." I was like, "Why?" And she just sat down with me, took a piece of paper, and start writing about properties, like how to invest into property, what is the LTV, how do you leverage with mortgage, and how to make money from properties, how to structure a deal. And I wasn't into property at the time, but what she said is everybody will deal with property eventually, like renting, buying your own house. Like, it's good that you have the knowledge now, and that will help you in the future. And that's how inspired me into the property world. And later then I find out that I entered the property without the correct knowledge, trying to do everything myself, and I start taking a lot more courses. That is where I met all these incredible people.
Amazing. Great stuff. Next question. What is your favorite property strategy? We spoke about this, and why?
My favorite property strategy is a buy-to-let. And the reason is because of KISS, K-I-S-S, so keep it simple and stupid. I have tried so many different strategies. Again, as I mentioned in the podcast about development, people spend all the time, resources, stress, and also uncertainty as well, getting 30, 40, 50% return margin on GDV on the development, but it takes 3-4 years. So if you work out the maths, it's about 10 to 15% annually, with all the uncertainty as well. And buy-to-let is a lot simpler structure. It's about negotiating at the beginning when you buy the property. Especially, it works for me very well because I operate in the south, especially in central London area. So the price is already a lot higher relatively to other cities in the UK. So it makes sense because negotiating 10, 20% in London, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds. So so it's about negotiating the purchase price and then keep it simple, do a light reverb, rent it out, and get the right gearing on it. And yeah, some of the property, averagely we get like 10% at least yielding on them. And with leverage, the ROI could be like 20, 25%, which equivalent to some of the HMOs. But we're achieving that on buy-to-let.
Amazing. Great stuff. Good answer. What's your favorite property or business book?
This will be a difficult one. There are so many. On top of my head, I would say Go for No. Okay. One of the book called Go for No. So this book, the idea is to make as many mistakes as possible upfront, which I realized I have been doing that during my career as well, and also the property journey as well. It's about making mistakes as quick as possible, as dramatic as possible, and as exponentially as possible. Have your whole team to create the mistakes right now, because the more mistakes you make, the better, the more composed you and your business will be learning from these mistakes. And you want to make them the mistakes when you're smaller rather than when you're bigger. And the second book will be the Gap and the Gain. Which is a book that recommended by a good friend of mine earlier this week, literally, and it's talked about the gap is basically where you are now and where you want to achieve, and everybody focuses on the gap and feeling miserable because I'm not the one or the ideal person I am just yet. And the gain is actually you looking back to where you were 10 years ago or last week. You have actually gained a lot. So you learn how to appreciate your journey rather than focusing on the gap.
That's amazing. I need to read that. I think that's a common entrepreneur curse. I think anyone that's chasing success or a goal, I think you never appreciate how far you've actually come. You're always looking at what's next and never really taking time to embrace where you are.
And also within the book, it says because the more you appreciate where you came from, like comparing yourself from last week, and so it actually helps you to create a positive mindset, and the positive mindset actually helps you to make better decisions, which helps you spiral upwards with a positive energy.
Absolutely. Next question. Name 3 people who inspire you.
Yep, I would say the first person, since we're in a property environment, is definitely going to be my aunt, and because she's the one who got me into the sector, into the career. So yeah, she is definitely the one. And there's so many other people, my business partners and all that, which help me to grow to where I am now. And also we have been through so much, so many journey, sleepless nights, stress moment together. There's all happy moment. We thought about writing a book about our just fun journey rather than another property educational book. And then I would say my family, actually my father is very inspirational to me as well. Okay. And I went up and down a lot emotionally, and he always there to support me. Never told me off, even if when I made huge mistakes in life. And also my wife, like she have supported me throughout the journey, ups and downs, physically support and also mentally support. Like I can't do it without her.
Good stuff. No, absolutely. You need a good partner in crime to help you through the stressful days.
That's right.
And to keep you grounded as well at the same time. Great stuff. Final question then. Name 4 people, dead or alive, that you'd have a sit-down meal with.
It's an interesting question. Like, I presume a lot of people will go down the route of Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, and yeah, they're incredible people. But I thought to myself, if I have the opportunity to sit down with Elon or Warren, like I don't know what to say to them.
Yeah.
I don't know what to ask. Instead, I would probably say the people who inspired me, and then having that quality time with them. Like again, my family, my aunt. It's because I would say day to day, like we already having so much stimulation, books, inspiration from entrepreneurs and like business gurus. I would say if I have the opportunity to sit down quietly, I would spend it with the family and who inspired me, and then have the quality time, have the quality conversation, and to make them proud.
Amazing. I like that. Do you know what? No one's ever answered it in that way, but I love it. I like the take on that, and I'd probably do the same thing actually.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah, great stuff. Well, I appreciate you coming on to the point. Hopefully, people have had a bit more insight to the mind of Elton, and sort of added a bit more context from the main episode, which is episode 51. If I remember rightly, you got the cat. You should know. So yeah, I appreciate you making the trip and coming on to the point today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure. Hopefully you've enjoyed that bonus episode of To The Point. Hopefully there some good stuff to unpack there, and a better insight to Elton. So we'll see you again on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.